You're lifting and lengthening out of the sit bones and allowing the weight at the back of your hips to sink and draw you a little bit deeper towards the floor. Remember, this action of allowing the body to release, to soften, means that the shoulders ease away from the ears, that we line up the back of the head with the tailbone. And we kind of come to that connection of every inhale, we're lifting and lengthening, drawing the top of the head towards the ceiling. With every exhale, we're softening and releasing away. For now, we'll rest the backs of the hands on the insides of the thighs. And I'm going to suggest that we curl the index finger in towards the thumb. You can either touch the fingertips together. My preference is to bring the pad of the thumb and rest over the index fingernail. I just find that a little more comfortable. And then when you're happy to do so, close the eyes and bring your awareness to the breath. So really tune in to the natural rhythm of your breath. And just notice any patterns emerging here. It's not uncommon, particularly as we're trying to squeeze a practice in the middle of our day, to find that the breath is quite shallow. Sometimes it feels a little rapid. And oftentimes we kind of pant through that inhalation. So we're just going to take a few moments to slow the breath down, to deepen the breath in, to lengthen the breath out. And coming to a point that rather than feeling the breath in the top third of the lungs, we start to become more aware of the breath through the base of the lungs, as we expand and widen into the back of the rib cage. And effectively, we feel the breath comes into balance. Equal length to the inhale and to the exhale. Bring your attention to that little circle you've created between index finger and thumb. And you might start to become aware of a sense of energy building here in the palms of the hands. This Yana Mudra serving to amplify that energy. Remember that I often say that the hands are an extension of the heart chakra. So as you set an intention to soften and release around the heart chakra, to become open and ready to receive for the work of our practice today, feel that positive energy all the way to the tips of the fingers, that widening and expanding, and a softening and releasing. Think of every exhale as a letting go of tension, breathing away any fatigue, and every inhale charging your batteries, preparing you for the work of our practice. Maintain your focus on the breath. And if, like me, you've chosen to close the eyes rather than soften the gaze, take a moment to blink the eyes open. And if you're wearing glasses, just flip the glasses up on top of your head for a moment. Bring the palms together in front of the heart, and we'll briskly rub that energy from the hands together, warming the palms, creating a little bit of friction here. Then open the palms, placing the palms over the eyes, interlacing the tips of the fingers into the hairline, keeping the eyes open behind the hands as you gently draw the hands down along through the length of the face, cupping the jawline, and then bringing the hands to interlock underneath the chin, placing the hands here almost as though you're resting the chin on top of the back of the hands. So I've just spotted that someone's popped up to come in. I think it's Jane. So I'll just reach forward. Veronica, just while I'm at it, I might mention, because you're sitting side on and looking over your shoulder, I'm worried that that tension you've got in your lower back won't really be helped by that. So facing forward is usually best. Hi, Jane, welcome. You've only just missed the first little bit. So we're coming now to placing the backs of the hands underneath the chin. And again, I'll just stress that it's not that you're pushing the head up. It's almost as though you're resting the weight of the chin on the backs of the hands. And for now, we've just comfortably got the elbows rested. I'm quite lucky. I've got a big shelf here I can rest my elbows on. Then as you inhale, we'll lift the elbows up, creating space through the chest. As you exhale, engage the core, and we'll push that breath out. So inhaling to lift, opening and widening. Exhaling to engage. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. Another deep inhale. Exhale. Then on the next inhalation, we'll keep the elbows drawn together as we gently press the back of the hands up under the chin and turn the gaze towards the ceiling. On an out breath, again, widen the arms, applying that gentle pressure from the chin, pressing the head back to center. So inhaling, lifting up, pushing gently. Exhaling, pressing the chin down, opening the elbows. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Now we'll take the hands from underneath the chin, we'll keep them interlocked, and we'll place them behind the back of the head. So feel free here to almost rest the weight of the back of the head into the hands, to spread the elbows so they're opening through the chest, but keep those shoulders nicely released away from the ears. As you can feel that connection at the back of the head, exhale to draw the tummy button in, then inhale and turn your glance towards the right elbow. Exhale again to draw the gaze back to center, engaging the core. Then inhale to turn the gaze to the left elbow. Engage the core again, return to center. This time, we'll inhale to lift and lengthen. As we exhale, we're leading that right elbow down towards our side, turning the gaze up towards the left, trying to keep the elbows open rather than collapsing together. Exhaling to engage the core, inhaling to lift back to center, then exhaling, taking that open to the opposite side. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, inhale, lift, come back towards center. We'll gently bring the elbows forward, and again, avoid pressing too hard on the back of the head. The intention is simply to allow the weight of the chin to ease forward. We're just creating a little bit of space here at the back of the neck. Exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale and lift, open the elbows, bring the gaze forward. Take the hands away from the back of the head. We'll take the left hand to the right knee, the right hand behind the hip. Lift up out of the sit bones and open that rib cage towards the back of the room. As you turn your gaze over the right shoulder, try to keep the head in the one position as you use the eyes to perhaps look at the quality of light in that corner of the room. Take your eyes through full range of movement on both directions, looking all the way down, looking all the way up. Try not to hold the breath. Inhale to lift and lengthen out the sit bones. Then as you exhale, take the opposite hand to the opposite knee. This time left hand behind the hip. Easing again into that twist position, opening the side of the rib cage. Then as you turn the gaze over the shoulder, again, we're just going to let the eyes wander. Try to keep the head in one position. And perhaps take in familiar objects. Let your eyes rest on something you particularly enjoy. Take your gaze all the way down. Take your gaze all the way up. Then as you exhale, release again. Bring the gaze back to face the front of the room. And as we bring the hands onto the knees, just take a moment to switch that leg cross over. So we're going to have the opposite foot in front, behind, whatever feels right for you. Lovely. Extend both arms forward. Bring the palms together. I'm going to stack left forefinger over right, just for a bit of variety, opening the hands towards the heart. On an out breath, draw the tummy button in and curve the spine towards the back of the room. Nodding the chin to the chest, opening that space through the middle back into the lower back. So really curving as deeply as you feel the desire to. As you inhale, lift back to center. We'll turn that interlock inside out. So we're pressing the palms open to the front of the room, remembering that connection from the heart chakra. As you inhale, open the arms overhead, pressing through the palms, softening the shoulders down away from the ears, and relaxing that space between the thighs, softening the knees. Every out breath, releasing through the shoulders. Every in-breath, pressing through the palms, feeling the ears between the upper arms. On the next exhale, we can float the hands back to chest level, keeping the core engaged. Then we'll separate the hands, bringing the hands behind, this time stacking right forefinger to the top. This interlock has the palms turned in towards the body, shoulder blades drawn together, core engaged. Then slide the hands away from the lower back. There's a temptation here to lean the body weight forward. So again, align the back of the head with the tailbone, let the inner thighs release. And with every out breath, just come a little more deeply into this opening through the chest. Lower the hands again to the lower back, separate the hands, then rest the hands in front of the ankles. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Then on the out breath, start this gentle walk forward. So Veronica, depending on whether your tension is held more on one side than the other, often these forward fold postures will be your friend when you have any kind of sciatica or trapped nerve type issues. Every out breath, lowering the forearms to the floor, bringing the elbows to rest, shoulder blades drawn together, extending and lengthening through the sternum, keeping that diagonal line from the back of the head to the tailbone, trying not to give in to the temptation of curving the spine in the effort to get the head to the floor. That's not the name of the game. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, press into the palms of the hands, then walk the hands back again towards the feet. Reposition the hands behind the hips, shoulder blades drawn together, core engaged, knees relaxed. Inhale to lift your gaze towards the ceiling, opening through the sternum. And again, we'll just observe the quality of the breath here. So coming to the end of each full breath transaction, inhaling deeply to the belly, the chest, and the collarbones. Exhaling fully from the collarbones, the chest, and the belly last. Pressing into the palms as you inhale to lift the chest. Then on the exhale, release and bring the gaze forward. Lovely. To come out of this leg cross, I'm going to propose that we come to a wide leg. Again, this is another one that relieves tension, particularly across the sacrum and into the lower back. We almost get a sense sometimes if we've been putting a lot of pressure on the back, it almost feels like it's been concertinas, that it's been squashed and all of the energy is held in that really small space in the lower back. So anything we can do to kind of lift the weight of the rib cage up and away will help alleviate that tension. So let's try with toes pointed up to the ceiling, allowing a little bend at the back of the knees, lifting up out of the sit bones, and again, following the sternum rather than just shooting the shoulders forward. Get that sense again of keeping a diagonal line, bringing the palms to the floor, then lowering the forearms towards either the mat or the floor. And remember, there's no gold star for getting your elbows on the mat. That's not the intention here. You're just showing off if you can. Every inhale, lift and lengthen. Every exhale, lower a little deeper. Because you know there is a golden rule. You can't go showing your teacher up. If you can do stuff I can't do, then we're not talking anymore. That's just it. Bring your gaze to the end of the fingers, engage the core, and walk the hands back towards center. So after we've done that wide leg fold, there's a real sense that you can feel the connection under the sit bones. There's a real sense of lift and lightness out of the spine. So rather than crumpling into it again, let's draw the feet together, coming into a Dandasana pose. Again, we have that lift, that length, softening the shoulders back and down, and extend the arms forward. Inhale to lift the arms up overhead, pressing through the fingertips. And this starts to build fire in the body. So it starts to ignite our inner Agni. So you can start to feel that warmth coursing from the belly all the way to the fingertips, all the way down to the soles of the feet. The longer we're in this posture, we start to become aware of that contraction in the thighs. Every out breath, drawing the tummy button in, supporting the spine. As long as we keep the breath flowing, we're cooling down that active energy, but we're tapping into that inner fire to give us strength. On the exhale, widen the arms, turn the palms up to the ceiling. You might start to notice a little bit of jumping beans going on in the thighs. That means we're working well, we're working hard. We like that. Keep the core engaged. Keep those palms nice and soft. And as you exhale, we're effectively taking the right hand behind and bringing the left arm to the center of the legs, drawing the gaze over that right arm, opening through the side of the rib cage. Inhaling to lift up back to center. Then exhaling, taking that twist to the opposite side. Inhaling again back to center. Exhaling, taking that twist again. You might find you've just managed to find an extra inch. Inhale to lift. Exhale to ease into that twist. Then inhale once more, come back to center, bringing the palms together, creating an Anjali Mudra overhead, positioning the ears between the upper arms and softening the shoulders down away from the ears. Toes again in position, pressing through the fingertips, lifting out of the sit bones, exhaling to draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Thighs are rock hard now. Then on the next out breath, keep that core engagement as you bring the hands back to heart. Separate the hands, position the wrists either side of the hips. For ease, we'll walk the feet in. I'll turn side on because it makes a better shape. So my preference is to turn the fingers out. It is possible to turn the fingers towards the back of the room, but it might just feel a little too intense on the wrists. So make it comfortable for you. Come to the position where you feel best supported. Now, we don't want to overload the wrists, so avoid leaning straight back into the arms. Try to keep your weight centered, core engaged. Push into the soles of the feet. Lift the bottom from the mat. This will work best if we've managed to get a hip width distance between the knees. And if we avoid rolling to the outside edge of the feet, keep the soles of the feet nicely attached to the floor. Press the shins forward, lift the thighs, the belly, the chest, open through that space across the collarbones. Then as you exhale, release, bring the sit bones back to the floor. And effectively, we're going to roll ourselves back. So take hold of the shins, hug the knees in towards the chest. And we'll just gently rock from one side to the other here. Easing a little bit of space in the back of the hips. Repositioning both feet onto the mat. Repositioning the hands either side of the hips, shoulder blades drawn together. So repeat that lift, but this time we're not using the wrists to hold the upper body up. We're keeping the back of the neck flush to the floor. As we exhale, draw the tummy button in, and inhale, lift the bottom from the mat. Focus on every inhalation, on lengthening through the front of the body, on lifting the thighs, the hips, opening through the sternum. On every exhalation, finding that equal weight through the soles of the feet, through the flats of the shoulder blades. Then slide the hands together underneath the lower back. Just let the arms rest on the floor. As you bring the hands to an interlock, press the shins again, lift the thighs, and see if we can go for a deeper opening through the chest. On an out breath, separate the hands. On an in breath, widen through the chest. On the next exhale, start that gentle roll down through the spine, easing vertebra by vertebra towards the floor. Releasing through the lower back, space across the sacrum. Then again, to counter that gentle back bend we've just done, we'll hug the knees towards the chest. Take the arms wide, turning the palms up towards the ceiling, making a T shape with the arms. Then gently roll the knees simply to the right, turning the gaze over the left arm. We did a little bit of side of the ribcage opening earlier, so let the weight of that left shoulder release. Breathe into that space at the side of the ribcage. Then as you exhale, draw the tummy button in, and we'll take the knees to the opposite side, turning the gaze this time over the right arm. You might notice that right shoulder jumps up a little. There might be a little resistance at the side of the chest, so breathe the shoulder back and down. And just find your way into this space that surrounds you. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll both knees back towards center. And I'm going to make a proposal that we pop the hands underneath the bottom. So palms down, we're effectively lifting the bottom off the mat, just enough so that we're giving a little bit of a helping hand to the hips, to the lower back, so that we're rounding that space in the lower back to the floor. On the next exhale, engage the core, press the heels up towards the ceiling. Again, we're just going to position the feet hip width apart rather than resting them together. And if we bring the soles of the feet into flexion, you're mindfully pressing through the heels, allowing the back of the hips to become more weighted, widening through the chest, and softening all of the muscles of the face. Inhale to point the right toe, bring that left foot into flexion. Then switch over, opposite. So flexing the right, pointing the left. And we'll just work through opposites, pointing and flexing, mobilizing the ankles. Every time you come a little deeper into flexion, you'll get a deeper stretch to the back of the calves. Then we'll bring both feet to flexion, push through the heels. Then on an out breath, bend the knees and hug the knees towards the chest. Let's position the knees directly above the hips. Keep the heels in line with the knees. So we're making a 90-degree angle. With the upper body, we're keeping the shoulders weighted, bringing the hands above the shoulders. Exhale again to draw the tummy button in and really push the lower back to the floor. Previously, we had our hands under the bottom, which helped with that action. If you feel any undue stress in the lower back, then draw the knees a little closer to the chest. You'll notice the closer you draw the knees, the more it rounds the spine naturally to the floor. Keep that core engagement. For now, we'll keep the left knee bent as you straighten the right leg, pointing that, pressing that heel towards the ceiling, keeping that right foot in flexion, inhaling to point the toe, exhaling to flex. Then using that big toe to draw 3 circles in towards the midline of the body, changing direction, using the toe to take the circles the other way. Try to ensure that you're using the toe, so we're mobilizing the ankle, rather than feeling that all the way down into the hip joint. Now bend that right knee, engage the core, press through the left heel. So again, we're drawing that left hip to the mat, opening the sole towards the ceiling, then using the big toe to draw those little circles. Take care to work slowly through full range of movement, letting go of any creaks and groans. Bring that foot back to flexion. Then as you exhale, bend both knees in towards the chest. Replace the feet on the floor, so we're back to a bent knee position. We're going to bring the right foot up and over. So we're resting the right ankle on the outside of the left thigh. Again, I'll recommend taking the arms wide with the palms turned up. On an out breath, bring that right knee over to the left side. And again, as we try to resist lifting the right shoulder, bring the gaze over the right arm and let the weight of your body ease into this deeper stretch through the side of the rib cage, and more tellingly into this space at the side of the hip, perhaps even down the side of the thigh. If you have no discomfort in your lower back, you might wish to bring the left hand on top of the thigh and apply gentle pressure to just nudge that right knee a little closer to the floor. You'll feel that that deepens the stretch here. We often hold this area very tight, so it's a nice way to kindly get into this area and just release that tension. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in, remove the hand from the top of the thigh, then roll both knees back to center. Unhook the right foot, bring the left foot up and over. And then again, we'll simply allow gravity to draw that left knee to the right side as we turn our gaze along the left arm, keeping that shoulder weighted back and down. You might feel that you get more stretch on one side through the side of the chest. On another side, you might feel more tension at the side of the hip. Breathe to the area where you need the release. Remember, if the back remains largely soft and unstressed, you can bring the right hand to the side of the thigh, apply pressure to draw the knee a little closer to the floor, and just see if you can fine tune that deeper stretch to the side of the hip. Then as you exhale, again, release the thigh, draw the tummy button in, and roll both knees back towards center. We'll unhook the left foot. Then we'll bring the soles of the feet together, allowing both knees to release wide. So we've just taken all that space on the outside of the hip. Now we're trying to balance that release, opening into the inner thigh, in and around the hip. If you feel this very keenly in the knees, you may wish to push the feet a little further away, effectively lessening that angle on the knees. Let's lift the arms overhead. Place the backs of the hands on the floor. So although this might create a little lift in the middle back, in the lower back, we're opening more and releasing through the chest, through the weight of the shoulders. We're allowing the knees to soften with gravity. And this is the one posture where we don't fix that space in the lower back. We don't need to engage the core. We just allow the breath to flow easily, gently, coming to the end of each full breath transaction. Then as you come to the end of the next exhalation, draw the tummy button in, bring the hands to an Anjali Mudra overhead, slide the knees towards one another, and bring that Anjali Mudra over the chest. Beautiful. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll the knees once more towards the chest. Inhale, take the arms back. Separate the arms. Exhale, lower the feet to the floor. Inhale, widen through the chest. On the out breath, this is a little bit like a crunch. We're drawing the knees to the chest and bringing the hands either side of the hips. Inhaling, lifting the arms overhead. Exhaling, repeating that little crunch. So very gentle activation of the rectus abdominis, the two main vertical muscles across the belly, keeping the lower back supported, activating again that inner fire. Out breath as you lift the knees, in breath as you open into the front of the body. Then on the next exhale, once more hug the knees to the chest. And we'll just take a moment, once more releasing from one hip to the other, rolling over that space, either at the sacrum or the lower back, wherever you hold your tension. Then either hands behind the thighs or hands on shins. We're going to roll ourselves up. Only exception to this is if you have low blood pressure, you might want to just roll to your side. Rolling backwards and forwards. Almost like massaging the spine. Then lifting back to a centered position. Good work. So I'll switch the position over now so that we come to an all fours position. We'll start with knees underneath the hips, wrists under the shoulders, and we'll spread the fingers to make sure that we can feel that connection from the tip of the finger all the way down to the base of the hand. No little gaps. Turn both toes under. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, and we'll do that nice long languid cat stretch. So we're lifting the space in the middle back, the lower back, tucking the tailbone under, nodding the chin to the chest. Then as we come to rest on the top of the feet, inhaling to lift the chest forward. I'll repeat the cat stretch because we did a few tummy exercises there. So we want to iron out the tension in the lower back by stretching and releasing. Then return to a neutral spine position. Slide the left hand forward, bring the right hand underneath, bringing the right ear, the right shoulder to the floor. Trying if you can to keep that left elbow lifted, pressing the palm to the mat. Exhale, engage the core. Push into that left hand, then bring the right forward, and we do the twist to the opposite side. Pressing again that palm to the mat. Exhaling to extend both hands forward, positioning the ears between the upper arms rather than just resting on the floor. Pushing the sit bones towards the heels. Almost feels as though we're being stretched on a rack here. Inhale to lift the fingertips, pressing the wrists to the mat, pushing the sit bones to the back of the heels. Lowering down onto the elbows, lifting the chest forward, coming to rest on thighs, belly, elbows either side of the chest, palms notionally either side of the head, shoulder blades drawn together. A little half tilt of the hips to press the thighs to the mat, then inhale to lift the chest forward. On an exhale, turn your gaze over one shoulder. On an inhale, look ahead. On an exhale, look over the other shoulder. Then inhale again to look ahead. On the out breath, lower down. Reposition the hands either side of the chest. Keep hold of the neck here by drawing the shoulders away from the ears, back of the head lining up with the tailbone. Push into the palms. Inhale to realign into that cobra pose. If that's too intense on the lower back, stay in the Sphinx pose with elbows to the floor. Then on and out breath, core engaged. Press back once more into the child's pose. Lift back up into an all fours position. We'll do one more little cat stretch. I want to keep that lower back nice and mobile. Then as you resume the all fours position, we're going to bring the right leg forward. So striking into almost a 90-degree angle on this front knee. We'll keep it just a little bit back at 90 degrees because there's always travel. Then bring the hands to an Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. So you want to make sure you feel that connection through the back shin. We don't want to feel all of the weight onto the knee. So try to push the back foot into the floor. Perfect. As you exhale, come a little more deeply, allowing the sit bones to rest down towards the floor. Ultimately, that will create a little bit of travel forward on this knee. As you glance down, turn the knee over the second toe. So we're not collapsing the knee in, and we're keeping active on inner and outer thighs. On an inhale, lift the arms up overhead, positioning the ears to the inside of the upper arms. As we lift the arms, you might become aware of that deeper stretch to the front of the left thigh into the hip flexor. Exhale, engage the core. Rather than press the hips forward, simply lift your gaze towards the thumbs and keep opening through the upper thoracic spine. As you exhale, engage the core, bring the hands back to heart. Then we'll hinge forward. As you hinge forward, turn that back toe under, lift the back knee from the mat. And I personally find it a little easier to bounce the foot a little bit closer. Lovely. It may be that you can get that back heel to the floor. You might be more comfortable staying on the ball of the foot. Do what's right for you. Shoulder blades drawn together. Lift the hands from the mat. It's almost as though you're holding yourself up in this position. So we need strength in the hamstring, in the thigh. We want that knee again toggling over the second toe. Inhaling once more to lift the arms overhead. Exhaling to take the arms wide. Lovely. Then on the next out breath, hinge forward again. Place the left hand on the floor, so to the inside of the right foot, effectively under the left shoulder. I'm going to lift the back heel from the mat. At this point, we don't really want the heel to the floor. Turn the belly towards the thigh, then look up towards the fingertips of the right hand. Deepening into that stretch at the side of the hip. Then exhaling, lowering down. Keeping that back toe turned under as you push the right foot back. Come into plank pose. Wide through the chest, engaged through the core. And again, we want to tune into the quality of the breath here. As you exhale, lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga if you prefer. Inhaling to lift the chest, then exhaling, easing back again into that lengthened child's pose. Lifting the fingertips from the mat, pressing the wrists to the floor. Then returning once more to the all fours position. We'll throw in another little cat stretch here just to keep that lower back nice and mobile. Nodding the chin to the chest, tucking the chin under. Then releasing back to neutral spine. Exhaling to engage the core, inhaling to strike the left knee forward. So same sequence on the other side. So again, we're mindful that we're not hanging around on that back knee. We've got equal weight distribution through the shin into the top of the foot. We're making sure that that knee is rolled over the second toe. And as we lower the weight of the back of the thigh towards the floor, we might just sink a little more deeply into a 90-degree angle. Inhaling to lift the arms up overhead. Shoulders again released from the ears. So keeping control of the hip space, lifting from the sternum, then easing back, finding that natural range of movement for you. Exhaling to engage the core, then hinging forward. Both hands to the floor to find stability. Turn the back toe under. My preference again is to bounce in to get the heel to the mat. Staying on a 90-degree angle or a little less on the front knee. As you lift, then widen the arms. And just hold your balance here. Keep the breath steady. Inhale to lift the arms up overhead. Keep sinking the weight at the back of the thigh to the floor. Then as you exhale, hinge forward. Peel that back heel from the floor if you haven't already done so. Left hand to the mat, turning the belly to the thigh. Inhaling to look up to the fingertips of the left hand, pressing the sit bones towards the back of the room. Then exhaling, replacing the hand on the mat, striking the left foot back. Coming back into that plank pose, engaging the core, rolling to the right side, lifting that left arm up overhead. If side plank is too much for you, you can always come down onto your elbow. Then lift that top arm over. Inhale to lift up. Replace that hand to the floor, roll to the opposite side. Bring that top arm over. Inhale, lift back to center. Lower that wrist to the floor. Back to plank. Then lowering down, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling to lift the chest. Exhaling to release. As you sink back into child's pose, let's quieten the shoulders. Bring the wrists either side of the ankles and let the forehead rest on the floor. So sometimes those side planks give us a little bit of tension inside of the neck. So take a moment to roll through the forehead, easing the space at the side of the neck, bringing your breath back into balance. Then returning back to what we call hero pose, sitting on the heels. In Bikram yoga, this is called Japanese style. That's how they sit and drink a cup of tea, isn't it? Oh, I could just murder a wee cup of tea right now. So try to make sure that the knobbly bits of the feet aren't touching, aren't distracting you. You want the heels, if you can, directly underneath the sit bones. And we ideally want to center the weight. Is anyone really not enjoying this posture? It's quite a common one. It's quite divisive. Okay, so if the tension is in the knees, use a pillow underneath the bottom And that will open out that space here. It might just be, Denise, that it's just a step too far with your knee because we know it's troublesome. So yeah, don't worry. Sometimes the other place we feel the tension is on the top of the ankle. Usually rolling up a blanket or a towel and sticking it underneath the ankles is enough to help. Roll the shoulders back and down. On an inhale, squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. On an exhale, release. Inhale, roll the shoulders up. This time on an exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Again, we'll bring the hands to an interlock in the lower back, right forefinger over left this time. Rather than pulling the hands away from the lower back, we'll just nicely stay in that interlock. We're gently going to nod the chin towards the chest. And we're effectively balancing out, deepening the stretch to the back of the neck. And again, we can slowly trace the line of the collarbone, rolling the head to the right, rolling the head all the way to the left, and having the hands behind the back just serves to lengthen that stretch. Then roll the head back towards center. Separate the hands, release back forward into the all fours position. Turn the toes under. Exhale, draw the tummy button in, roll up through the spine, nod the chin to the chest. And with that lifted position, visualize that you're pressing the hips all the way to the right. Come back to center, press the hips all the way to the left. So we're keeping that curve through the spine. Releasing back again to center. Softening back into a neutral spine position, resting on the tops of the feet, then drawing a figure of 8 with the hips. So we're just releasing, softening, working back into that watery sacral area. And coming back towards center. Beautiful. So I'm going to invite you now to get comfortable for a Shavasana. So if you know that you need a blanket or some socks, then do what you need to do to get comfy. I'm mindful that Fiona's got to get back to work. No rest for the wicked, eh? Bless your heart. So you can choose whichever position best supports you for Shavasana. Remember that the term Shavasana literally translates as corpse pose. So if you feel comfortable to fully open, release into that vulnerable posture of lengthening the legs and the arms, then do so. If your preference would be to just lie a little more closed, then by all means bend the knees if you need to support the lower back. Let the hands rest either by the hips, or if you wish, take them out wide. You're absolutely fine seated if that's the way you want to take Shavasana. You don't have to lie down, just whatever best supports you. We just want to find our way back to a little bit of quiet, a little bit of silence. So in amongst everything else that's going on in our busy week, we've sandwiched this practice into the middle of the day. So let's take full advantage of that. Let's honour the gift of time. As you slowly ease your way back. to finding a deeper relaxation. Resting the tongue in the well of the mouth, softening the temples, relaxing the eyebrows, feeling the weight of your head ease a little more deeply into the earth beneath you. Rather than holding yourself, let the earth hold you. With every out-breath, let go of any tension you may be holding. With every out-breath, feel that sense of releasing. With every out-breath, ease your body into a deeper relaxation. Your opportunity for quiet, for calm. And anytime the attention wanders, simply return to the breath. Enjoy a rare few moments to rest here, to breathe here. As you enjoy this sensation of the body letting go, of the mind quieting, simply allow the sounds of the singing bowl to wash over you, the vibrations to permeate every cell of your body, to bring your whole self back into harmony. 3 chimes to cleanse mind, body, and spirit. As you gradually now bring your awareness back to your space within this room, your connection with the earth beneath you, with the air that surrounds you. Gradually returning sensation to the physical body, perhaps wiggling fingers and toes, wriggling the jaw and the nose. If you remain outstretched, maybe take a long stretch through the body. If your knees are bent, you might prefer to hug the knees to the chest. And once more, release that tension in the lower back. Take your time to roll to the side that feels most welcoming to you. Pausing there to blink, the eyes open. And when you're ready, return to a comfortable, seated position. Now bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honours the light in you. Namaste.